What's going on? We're back in Dokkan here with the Android category Super Battle Road. Now, let me just say, I have not used the Android category much personally, like in Dokkan events, or in general, really. I've always used the 517 for different teams. He was always good. Shout out to this man, Dodge McGee, out here doing work. This guy, I actually feel really weird using this guy because not this guy, but Super 17. Because Super 17, although he reduces damage by 40%, because I don't have him rainbowed, I used 17 rainbowed one time. Dude, I legit felt the power of that tanking. But it does feel a little weird where he does not block as much as I wish just because his defense isn't that high. And the damage reduction is good, but his defense is kind of meh. But like I was saying, I never really used the Android category, and I was actually pretty surprised to see how, first of all, how tanky this team is, and second of all, just how defensive it is in terms of damage reduction. Because I always knew that 517 reduced damage and defense, and I knew that Hellfighter 17 did that as well, but I forgot that Android 21 did that. To be honest, I sometimes forget Android 21 exists because I rarely use her. But like 4 out of the 6 people on this team have damage reduction. So it's actually, I actually was surprised that I beat this the first try, and it wasn't that hard. And I think I was a little bit cautious near the end where I ended up using more support items. But low-key, this could have been a no-item run. All I had to do was just take it slower. And by the way, let me just say, that AGL Hellfighter 17, legit, I think he might be one of the, like, absolute best free-to-play units available in this game. Just because of the simple fact that he puts in so much fucking work. Like, he dodges regularly. And now, what I'm doing right here, looking back on this, I kind of changed it up eventually, but with this team, you actually, if you were to do this, I would recommend you maybe focusing different units with different individuals. Like, for example, 517 focusing maybe, well, actually, no, I think what I did was correct here. Because basically looking at the end there, the least tankiest person on rotation is Android 21. So if I get damage reduction or damage down with 17 and then 21 on that int unit, gonna end up doing pretty damn good damage and gonna end up taking like no damage in return. After you do, you notice after you do 2 attack down super attacks, you really notice the shit. By the way, this 21 low-key is god tier. It's kind of annoying with her transform mechanic where you have, I think it's a 30% chance to transform into Mongo when you are low HP. It never happened for me. I did this battle road one time so far, completely, and it never happened. And now I've just been screwing around with it, because I did this so easily. I was like, yo, low key, I could easily do this with no items. This is beyond easy, and it actually is very. I think that out of all the new stages, probably this one is the easiest one to do with no items. And I think that's simply because of the fact that there's so many tanky individuals on this team. And there's a lot of damage down individuals as well, coupled with the fact that you have a lot of attack down units. I feel like if you got lucky enough, you get the right dodges, you get the right blocks, you end up doing fine. I think the most dangerous turn is turn 1 when you have 517 on rotation, because 517, his passive of damage reduced by, I think it was like 44% or something like that, it doesn't activate unless your HP is 77% or less, I believe. So the fact that he has that condition where you need your HP to be low, he's not the best on turn 1 just because of the fact that his defense is kind of like, like it's okay, it's a decent defense, but reducing damage received by 40% is way better, and you feel that shit. Like, I really, really, really feel like I used way too many items for this run, because multiple times I forgot that my HP was already low in the beginning of the turn, so I forgot his passive activated, so I was fucking shook. And then what ends up happening is that because he's reducing damage by 40% anyway, it really didn't matter. Like, a lot of the items I use is like whatever, and at certain points in here, you can really see and appreciate the damage down effect just because a couple of times I got super attacked by off-color enemies, and they ended up doing like 120k, which is really nothing in Super Battle Road. Off-color usually is 300k damage, low-key. So the fact that we were able to get 120K and keep them moving, this team is really fucking good. I can only imagine what this team would be like if you had Incel on this team. I would imagine it probably is like a no-brainer. Like, you could no-item this, you could fucking just run through this in no time. And one thing I will say, after looking at Incel, I think that knowing what I know now, I would not have pulled for Incel for one reason, right? Okay, yeah, his leader skill, or actually, yeah, his passive's not that great. It's kind of whatever. Yeah, he's kind of like a weird activation requirement. You need to have HP below 30%, all these different bullshit, etc., etc. But for me, recently, what I really just fucking hate that they did is that they made his category Android/Cell Saga, which I absolutely understand. I understand, the whole idea is Android Cell Saga. Like, during the Cell Saga, that's his leader. But I feel like he would have been broken if they made it just androids. Because my dumbass was thinking that he was a leader for Cell Saga and androids, not Cell Saga or exclusive or androids. So I actually brought him. I'm like, ooh, I got a friend cell. We gonna fucking do this. I felt good. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna be an easy one. But unfortunately, certain key units that are on this team cannot be run under a cell lead. You cannot run 517, who is a staple to this team. You cannot run Android 21, who's actually pretty good. She has some HP regain. She has some damage down. She has some shit going on. You can't run her. You can't run GT 17. So you can't even run Hellfighter 17. So what you're left with is a bunch of cells. And for me personally, I don't have the new Android 16, so that's not someone I would put on. I don't have the Gohan, obviously, so I wouldn't put him on either. So I kind of feel like Cell is like so restrictive. Like, if you look at Gohan, he has the Kamehameha category. Like, I mean, for me, like, there's a million motherfuckers that have Kamehameha. But he is just so, like, I don't know. I didn't like that. That gave me a bad taste in my mouth because I was fucking happy. I was like, yo, this is going to be, what do I need items for? Why would I ever need items? I'll just body this motherfucker. And again, I think what I do here is a mistake, is that, again, I don't use androids that much, and this is something that I realized after the fact, is that I could have really, of course, dodged the normals, get hit by the super. I could have really spaced out my super attacks a little bit more, do, damage down twice to both of them as opposed to 4 on one of them. Because I think throughout this entire thing, I focused this tech unit, which is alright, but if I had just focused the SDR unit as well, like, for example, right here, I get the double super with 17, so this tech unit is hitting nothing. She's doing nothing. I don't know if that's a she. It's a robot, but I always thought it was... I don't know, dude. It has a female figure, all right? I want to fuck that robot. Yeah, like I was saying, if I had done a super attack to that Rildo, it would have ended up being better. But eventually, I get rid of the tech unit, end up doing a shit ton of damage down on Rildo. It's to the point, really. I really feel like what's stopping a no item run for me at this point is just I hate not seeing Rainbow 17s in my friends list. And I can't use the friend, like, it's so ass. And also the fact time. Time is money. I would love to just, spend, 3 or 4 hours trying to get that no item run, but I don't know. I got other super battle worlds to complete. I got other things to do. I might end up doing it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, really surprised that this ended up being this good. But hey, you know what? Android category. I tell you right now, if you pull Incel, you put him on this team, take off Hellfighter 17, I don't think you could lose any event if the event allows you to do damage down, and even if it didn't, the defense is so fucking good. Like, how are you going to lose? Like, how the fuck are you going to lose? And then Cell has his passive where if you're lower than 30%, you're going to end up getting a full heal, which is ridiculous. And again, right here, I took a shit ton of damage from that Rildo. If I had simply just super attacked him once or twice, I probably would have been taking, 30k maybe, if I had gotten at least 2 super attacks on him. But yeah, I definitely like this team. This is a good team. So yesterday I was chilling, I was relaxing. If you don't know, here in the United States of America, the best country in the world, It is Labor Day weekend, which means for this entire week, everyone in my job pretty much didn't want to do anything. Which is, that it is what it is, bro. It comes around once a year, Labor Day. That's when we celebrate all the hard work we do. So you do absolutely, positively fucking nothing. I mean, for me personally, it's kind of like the last month of the year, like December. That's why I like taking off from my job around December, because when I first started, I started in October, and I could have taken off like a week for Christmas or something like that. And I was like, whatever, I'll save it. I'll see like what I can do during Christmas. Dude, Christmas, there's no reason to go to work on Christmas. Like, people either work from home at my company or they just take off. And I think really I fucked up by going that first year to my job, because, dude, legit, all I did is I would come in. I was new too. Granted, when you're new at a company, like, it usually is something that, it's kind of hard to find things to work on. Like, it's hard to figure out, oh, okay, I can work on this. Oh, okay, I have this to do. Oh, okay, I could do that. What ends up happening is that you just have nothing to do. You get bored, and then you stare at a fucking wall like an asshole. I mean, granted, there's always things to do. I mean, at that time, credit to myself, I actually ended up doing like a project and working on it. Ended up being something positive for like the review the next year. But it's just like when you show up and there's no one there, and when you're new, like, you don't know what to do. It's like, what the fuck? Like, just take off for Christmas if you can. Although, I'll be honest, because I didn't take off Christmas that year, I had an extra 5 days of carryover time off. Lord, dude, let me just tell you something. Last year, I'm trying to do what I did last year. Last year, December 14th came. I'm like, sorry, I'm going to see you in January. I'm going to see you in January. I took off like half the month. I took off like some time before that, like on and off, but that was like the most time off I took. And that shit felt good as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, dude. The best feeling for me is when I was off and I got my paycheck. Like, I was off. Like, I get paid every 2 weeks. So I had gotten paid. I went on vacation. And then while I'm on vacation, I just saw that direct deposit hit my bank account. I said, Lord, I got paid for doing nothing. That felt, dude, I'm not gonna lie, that felt dumb good. I was like, fuck, holy shit, this is what I live for. So I'm gonna try to recreate that this year. As a matter of fact, my intention is actually to kind of split up between November before Thanksgiving and then December around Christmas. I think I took off maybe a week, either 4 days or a week, to kind of take some time off in November. I haven't really taken off a lot of time this year. And low key, your boy, we gonna play in some Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm actually gonna try to wrap up Pokemon Fire Red because I'm pretty close to the end of it. I'm basically at the point where you catch the legendary birds, and I think the only thing I have left is the legendary birds, the Elite Four, and then Mewtwo. So I'm probably going to end up finishing that this weekend if I get the chance. I'd like to do that. And that's another thing, too. This is a nice long weekend. My job ended up giving us Monday off as well as Tuesday off, but don't tell my parents that. Don't let them know that. I'm going to work on Tuesday. Don't fucking bother me. So, low-key, bro, we got some time this weekend. We're going to have some time in November. We're going to be playing hella Pokemon. As a matter of fact, speaking of Pokemon, Pokemon Masters just released yesterday. I have not gotten the chance to play that game. I've been busy. But I definitely want to check that out. That seems like an interesting game. I was going to do the whole reroll bullshit, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to play the game. If it ends up being shit, it ends up being shit. But might as well give it a chance. Because honestly, Naruto Blazing, I tried playing that game. I think I'm at the point where I'm just like at a loss for words because I hate to, beat a dead horse, but I really was looking forward to playing in the Kage League, trying to fuck around a PvP. And I tried doing that at my job, and the app just kept dying. People fucking, just hit the fucking lag switch. I only played 2 matches, to be completely honest. I got super fucking drained, and was like, fuck it. But low-key Pokemon Master is going to come through. And as you can see here, that was with no items. I didn't use any items there. That was 120 damage off color. Simply based off the fact of damage reduction. So that is really fucking good, man. This team is really fucking good when it comes to damage reduction as well as tanking. Because as you can see here, we have Hellfighter 17, which has a pretty damn good chance to dodge. We have Phi 17, who is now taking 40% less damage. And then we have Tech Cell at the end, whose defense is through the fucking roof. And he does heal a fair bit, as you saw there. He got like a good 20k HP back from those orbs, low key. So this team is fucking low key god tier. The only downfall is that I don't have LR Cell. What the fuck? Bandai, what's good with you? Give me Shell. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I got friends coming from out of state. We got a lot of shit going on, bro. We got a lot of shit going on, straight up. And let me just say, I will say that I'm very flattered. I'm very happy. I really appreciate the feedback I've been getting with the quote-unquote top 10 series I've been doing. I haven't done a lot. I've done 2 videos. But it seems like people are interested in it, and it seems like something that, I'll try to do every other week, if not every week. Granted, I have a lot of different ideas. I'm trying to basically put it in order of, like, least important to, least interesting. Because, there's a lot of different things to talk about in Dokkan, but I'm trying to find what's the most interesting thing. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep the steam engine going. So, yeah, I just wanted to say appreciate that. I definitely appreciate the bit of, I always liked, me personally, obviously I make YouTube videos, but for me personally, I've always been a huge fan of the subreddit and kind of posting things there and adding things there. And it kind of sucks that in the past, 2 years, it's become a lot less open to the idea of people sharing their own content in terms of YouTube videos, which is fine. I mean, fair enough. I mean, the subreddit got fucking raped by self-promotion at one point in time. And then eventually they were kind of cool with it. They're like, yeah, fair enough. You want to promote something, you want to show a video, as long as you ask, it's fine. But now it's like, I rarely ever try to, quote unquote, promote anything. I just like to share certain things, especially like that video, the first video I made, top 10 bugs and glitches. It was something I was thinking about, and I was like, oh shit, there actually is a fair bit of bugs and glitches, and a lot of them were nuclear. And it was something I wanted to share with the subreddit specifically. I mean, it was something I wanted to make a video for, but it was something that I had brought up. I made a thread on the subreddit, and I was like, oh shit, yo, look, peep that dodge. I was like, yo, low-key, this might be, an interesting post. And I asked them, I'm like, hey, is it cool if I post this? I just wanted to share it. It's with this thread, blah, blah. And they're like, sorry, that's against our self-promotion rule, da-da-da. So now the subreddit's kind of, not open at all to the idea of sharing stuff, which is fine, fair enough, but it's kind of depressing that you don't get to add certain things, because Reddit now has the ability where you can upload videos, so that's what I did with the last one. I just uploaded it, but it sucks because Reddit has a time constriction. So, that first video I made was 30 some odd minutes, and the second one I made was 14 some odd minutes. So I was able to upload that to Reddit, and it was no problem, but in the future, if I make a fucking, a 20-minute video, I can't share with anyone. So, low-key, what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to implement a scheme system. We're going to have to implement a system. Top 10 on YouTube, top 5 on Reddit. Genius. That's a smart move. That's a 200 IQ move. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's self-esteem issues. I don't know if it's just fucking autism in general, but something about internet points, those upvotes, those likes, those views, those different porno mags, they all just contribute to the hole that's sitting in my heart. But yeah, in all seriousness, that's something that it seems like a positive vibe, and something I'll look forward to trying to do more of. Hopefully, I don't run out of ideas, because, I'm writing these ideas down, I'm putting pen to the pad, trying to figure out if I can bust a rhyme. But eventually, it's, with all things, it's going to run out. I'm going to end up making the top 10 fucking Super Saiyan fucking unit. This is Super Saiyan Goku. I'd say he's number 10. Super Saiyan 2 Goku, I say he's number 9. And then we'll just go up to Super Saiyan 10 and then call it a day. So as you can see here, this is the final stage. One thing I like about Category Super Battle Road that's different than the Mono Super Battle Road is that there's only 3 stages. So with the Mono, there's 4. With this, there's 3. So I feel like you have a little bit of a better chance for pacing and in terms of just, not fucking up. And as you can see, we do have low HP. So low-key, if I wanted to, with this setup, what I'm looking at right now, I probably would not have had to use a Whis because I'm focusing Int Baby, right, in terms of damage reduction. We have minimum 3 damage reduction supers going at Int Baby right now. And we have 40% damage reduction by this Phi 17. So as long as he doesn't get super attacked by the off color, we're probably going to tank it. And then We have AGL 17 in the middle, who's low-key going to end up fucking dodging shit. And even if he didn't, it's only STR, so it's not like we're going to, as you can see, we would have taken, 20k damage at most. So low-key, man, low-key, we didn't need to use that item. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. If you're doing this shit, and you're trying to fucking, get that 30% HP threshold for Cell to come out, low key, this is a good squad to do it with, because they're so tanky. Like, even if you were to have, 20k HP, no bullshit. If you block properly, you end up being fine, because you end up taking double digits. And right here, this is really like amazing, because the 17 is going to block properly on the Rildo, right? And then we already did damage down on this int asshole. So this is going to do nothing. Like, 7,600? Shut the fuck up, stupid. I mean, granted, we have a Whis active. But even if we didn't have a Whis active, that probably would have done, 35, 40k? Just because we did 3 damage reductions to him? That's what I'm thinking, anyway. I mean, I might be wrong. Maybe 60k is the possibility. But, damn, this team is low-key god tier. The fact that you have so much defense and damage reduction, just fucking, oof. Just sitting here fucking jerking it. God damn. Yeah, so low-key going to try to bust out some more Super Battle Roads this weekend. Planning on going by a friend's house today. Actually, I'm planning on going somewhere immediately after that. Well, actually, we have a order of operations. Right now, I'm working from home. I'm on my lunch break at the moment. I got a performance test running, which should be done in about 5 minutes. So I'll go ahead. I'll get the performance metrics. I'll put that shit on Confluence page. No one will read it. No one will care. And then we'll be on our way. Now, actually, what's funny? If you ever work at a job, or, this applies for software, but I think any job, this is true too. No one cares about, like, the small details until they matter. And what I mean by that is, like, in June, I did performance tests for some service, one of our services, right? And I'm like, yo, this shit is pretty slow. Like, we should low-key make this better, da-da-da. And then people were like, but is it that slow? Is it really that bad? Da-da-da. And now we're getting close to production release, which is basically us revealing this service to customers. And they're like, yo, we updated it, right? We did some updates, and they're like, yo, let's see. Oh, fucking this guy. Oh my God, this guy dodges so much. He's a god. And they're like, yo, let's see if this will hold up production load. It didn't. It absolutely didn't. That shit got murdered. And now that we're closer to, releasing this shit to customers, my team, everyone around us are like, oh, what the fuck? We need to performance test this shit, dude. We need to make updates, dude. What the fuck? This is nuts, dude. And I'm like, yo, I said this in June, you fucking sickos, like 2 months ago. I mean, granted, I could have probably looked at it, but that's the thing. Like, we've been really busy in terms of making updates and trying to push shit out. So, I'm not blaming my team and saying they're assholes or anything like that. It's just the point that we've been so fucking busy that I feel like we kind of look past the whole performance thing. And that's something that's not very unlikely at my company. At my company, like, I don't know, I feel like in terms of, like, performance, I'm not going to say they don't care, but I feel like they don't do a rigorous job in terms of figuring out how things perform and then, executing it properly. Because before our team, dude, no bullshit, I feel like people were not, like, performance testing items properly. Like, for example, we ended up owning a product about a year and a half ago that went to production, was live for customers, and then customers were complaining and saying, what the fuck, this is so slow. Like, we had a customer, like, larger customers, like, we have a customer, like, for example, let's say Amazon, Uber, larger customers with more people. Basically, we were complaining that what we made was a search functionality, and they're like, holy shit, dude, this is so fucking slow. Like, I'm not going to use this shit. And what ended up happening is that they just disabled that shit. They're like, fuck it, we're not fucking with this shit. We ain't doing this shit. We refuse to go along with this bullshit. So they ended up disabling it, but, like, how the fuck, like, I'm thinking, like, how did this shit get to production? How's it this fucking slow? Like, we ended up doing, performance tests on it, and it was basically, it wasn't even really our service. What we used is Elasticsearch in the background, and basically Elasticsearch is like, imagine SQL, but, it's not SQL, it's not a database, but it's kind of like a faster data store. And we were using ass fucking, like, dog shit queries. We were basically using a bunch of queries that had nested loops, had nested, logic, had this slow bullshit, had that slow bullshit. And I ended up changing that. Ended up being a little bit faster. It wasn't fast enough for their liking, but at least it was a little bit better. And then what ended up happening after that is that the entire project, basically, in terms of making it faster, got canned because in terms of Elasticsearch, we realized that we needed a different index. We needed to do this, that, the third. We needed to change this, needed to change that. Ended up, this was a gigantic change. It was completely time-consuming. The changes we made that were minimal were already time-consuming. And all this could have been avoided if at day one, they performance tested that shit and said, why is this so slow? We're using this with 1 million customers. Why is this ridiculously slow to the point that something that should be taking 500 milliseconds is taking 1 second, 2 seconds? As you increase, it goes up, it goes up, it goes up. And it's like I remember that shit got me salty. That got a lot of people salty. And I guess I think honestly, it's honestly just a lack of process at my job. Like, it's not like people don't want to do it. It's so fucking hard to do the right thing because, you go to do, like, for example, last year, one of the most annoying fucking experiences I ever had is that I went to go do a performance test and the environment was down. The environment you're supposed to use, the environment that's supposed to enable you, the environment you're supposed to be ready to test at any time was down. So now I got to go on a wild goose chase. I got to go ask, hey, how do I get it up? Oh, there's some error. Why wasn't this fixed? I don't know. No one manages it. So what ended up happening is that over the course of 3 months, I had to ask someone to bring up the environment manually anytime we did a performance test. It took a ridiculous amount of time to do it manually. It seemed like no one gave a shit. And what ended up happening, this is just an assumption, but I believe this is the case, is that someone whose name was a intern at the time made these changes. And basically they let an intern fuck with stuff internally and then took no responsibility in terms of, like, maintaining it and making sure that it wasn't, like, fucking, buns. Which is Mong, first of all. And then second of all, the annoying thing is that it was such a stupid thing that was making it fail. Basically, there's a backwards code that runs the different things. So what it did before is that it would say, all right, make this for team 1, make this for team 2, make this for team 3. And then the change that ended up happening, when I heard this, I said, what the fuck, dude? Why? Why is this the case? Is that someone went in, changed it from Team 1, Team 2, Team 3 to Test 1, Test 2, Test 3. And it was basically an incompatible, strings, basically. And first of all, this was frustrating for a lot of reasons. One, it was such a dumb mistake. Why? Second of all, why would you let an intern change that and then push it and then not tell anyone? Third, this is another thing that was so frustrating, because when I heard this, I was like, oh, damn, all right, yo, is this in Git? Like, I wanted to see, like, for the future, if this ever happens, you can go check the diff, etc., etc. And they're like, yeah, we don't have this in Git. We don't track this in Git. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you can't at least put this in Git? I don't know where it is. I'm not a manager. I'm not going to, like, breathe over their neck because there's other things to do, more important things to do. But, again, in terms of process, like, this could have been so much easier. This could have been so much simpler. And if I was a lazy piece of shit and I'm like, I could have easily just said, oh, the performance environment's not up, made a ticket and said, oh, it's not up, I can't do anything. And then that was it. That'd be the end of it. And it'd be like kind of like a cop-out. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like at my job for a lot of things that I do, especially for the past year, in terms of writing more infrastructure-based stuff, using Ansible and kind of internal stuff that not a lot of people use, I've had to go through the bullshit of figuring out how to get around things and fix things and basically turn into fucking, we gotta make super moves in order to do basic shit. Like, it shouldn't be this hard to do a basic performance test. I mean, now, granted, it is getting better, it is becoming better, but a year and a half ago, it was complete and utter dog shit. And by the way, let me just say, this fucking Rildo's HP is ridiculous. I think I made the right decision in focusing Int Baby and then going for Rildo, because I don't know if Baby has less HP or if Rildo just has better defense or, like, what's going on. But holy shit, dude, this motherfucker refuses to die. Like, I'm hitting this motherfucker with everything I got and he still don't give a fuck. But as you can see here, with this Androids team, once you get down to 2 enemies, especially 1 enemy, it becomes extremely easy to manage, extremely easy to block properly, extremely easy to do damage down and focus that and make sure that they're doing double digits. And you do get a lot of HP back. You do get HP back from orbs. Everyone here has decent HP. And then also units like this Android 21 gets HP on super attack. So this is just this is just magic. Like at this point, we're going to end the fucking map with damn near full HP. So as you can see there, the HP did go up. So low key, man, if you got these units, I think, honestly, I think if you have 517, he's a requirement. If you have Tech Cell, I'd say he's a requirement. 5 Cell is a nice to have, but you could maybe get away with using, I don't know, free to play maybe 5 Cell, maybe. And then you gotta bring the Hellfighter 17, dude. Those Dodgers are too fucking great, dude. The Android team, low key, put it down for the pound, got it on lock. Yo, I would really recommend you use a team or a similar team to this and see how it works out.